questions or anything yet, no?
So Angie, you can tell us a little about yourself first.
Okay, hi, I'm Angie Boynton. I'm from Marion County. I was born here, went to Forest, went to the university, and online I did another college, so I have a MBA. I have two businesses. One with taxes that I also taxes for the state, federal, and local taxes for different companies. I also do audit for different tax for different my people that come over for me that they have some problem, and I do all the audit for them, and I also check it out for them, and I also turn around and change all the right information so that it will be the best information and send all the information back to them in federal or either for the state, and so they won't have any problem. For my other company, I will tell you, my doctor told me, he said, Angie, I didn't really think you had a stroke. He said, I think you had something different that was medicine. He said, and I think you're a very, very good person, and I know you already did your website, so I want you to do another website. And I was like kind of tired, and so I said, okay. So I went over to another office, a guy that does website, and I said, would you please do me I gave my information, I said, put all the information in. And he said, that doctor said that? I said, well, yeah. He said, no, I can't do that. I said, but you can do this website for me. He said, no. And I said, oh. So I think 2 weeks, I said, okay, I'm gonna try this and did this website. And now my company is now where I can sell shoes, purses, and everything. And you have to learn all those things. He said, for your brain, to make sure you're happy. Those are the things about me. But for the school board, I am the vice chair right now. I have been a chair. I'm a certified school board also. It takes about, I would say, 4 years to be a certified school board because of all that information that you have to get, and as the laws change every year, you have to learn all that information so that you can help for our county, our parents, the students, for everybody, that we would have all the right information to do all those things that all those laws have to do. I'll tell you, one of the things, the best I can talk to you is why am I coming? Why am I to be on the school board again when I can talk pretty bad? Well, the parents came, and some of the students, they came, come on, Ms. Boynton, you know what's going on. Help us come back. And I said, wait. And then again, I did come back, and I put in to be voted again, to be one more time, because I have the best experience. I have leadership and proven results. Why? I write so many of our policies so that we can have the right information for our county. I have about 12, I said, and only one the school board did not vote for. We have 3 programs that the parents came to me for our community about our students. We had so many students that were being getting out of school, or if something was wrong. So we have some programs, 3 programs for these students would be that will help them. I'm gonna go with that. Well, one was for drugs and alcohol. We had those programs. The other one was dealing with violent sexual harassment. Those things, they were really, and you know about PASS. If they're suspended, they can instantly go there and rather be outside running around. Those are the programs that I really did, and the parents were so bad. They said, we need information, come on, Ms. Boynton. we have provided 3 committees. One was the oversight committee responsible, parent enrollment committee, and I have put Nancy Stacy to be on that, and the balance score with Bonnie James, I put that on for you. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. Angie, the way I look at this is, and I'll say the same thing to Jane, and the way you might look at it, it's like a job interview. You've been working for us for 8 years almost. Give us a reason why we should put you back in the same position. But I'm gonna start asking you some questions. Okay. And if you don't feel comfortable anymore, all you gotta do is say, I like to pass, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Angie, it's almost been 8 years that you've been a school board member. How have you been an effective school board member? Give us an example if you don't mind.
Well, for a school board person, one of the jobs that we have to do is oversight policies. And we have to, for me, I'd rather write them, look the law, get all the laws, come together, and turn those policies for our county, not what some other county is doing, but what we're doing. And I've done that for years. And I would always go to the superintendent, and I would tell you that, I'm not gonna say the best one, but I would say those school board would come back to me, and we'll talk, and we'll get that effort together. Together, we would say, you're right. And I said, what do you think? And they would say, give me some information. And we'd do all the information, give it to the school board together, and the school board would say, yes, we want that now for our county. Like I always say, not another county, but just for here, and what's going on here. Okay?
Angie, what are your thoughts of a voter-approved superintendent and an appointed volunteer school board members?
Wow. Wow, well, I'll tell you, for years, I was a person that said we needed a voted superintendent. And I always would say that. And I would say 2 years ago, 1.5 years, I changed. And I said, well, they were asking questions, I said, I'm gonna wait and think a little bit more. Because I believe that the superintendent is over everything. And even that school board, if we write a policy, if she writes a policy for the school board, for the district, she can do that. And we won't know anything what's going on. Did you know that? We won't know anything, like the other day, I have a parent coming instantly going, and they said we cannot have the school boards, the back boards, the school bags, the school board, those bags. We cannot do that. And I said, why? I said, hold on. She already wrote the policy because she can. And so that's why I changed. Said by that time, if that school board doesn't know what's going on, we need someone that can. We need one I would say, not a voted one. We need one that can come in, and if the committee will come back, they can say they can fire them when they want to. We can't right now. If something's so wrong. And I began to look to different counties. Why did not have why you don't have a voted one? And I began that information. Why? Because there were so many different things. All the laws changed. We need something, and we need to be on it. And you know, if you're not overseeing that, you would never know what's going on. So that's why I said we need to vote for one. Vote for one on that.
Thank you.
Now we're from another.
Angie, what is your view of the role of charter schools in public education? What would you say?
Charter schools, I love charter schools. I'm gonna tell you why. That I'm gonna look at ours, okay? We have four, and they're really, really working with the children. And as you looked at them and see some of them have D's all the time, and I said, wake up. Most of them, did they get all those children that have ones, the lower scores, ones and twos, and they get them in, and they put them together. And I said, those charters are working hard for those children to the best that they can. If you even looked at the Marion military one and two students, yet their grades are getting better and better. Okay? With them, I support charters all the time. But I don't like, just I don't like another charter that's coming inside our county to do what to do, because this is our community. This is our students, and okay.
For the record, Evergreen is a failed school. I think we all know that. How many visits, Angie, have you made to it in the last year? And the second part, in a leadership capacity, what recommendations have you made to correct the situation?
A turnaround school. A turnaround school had beginning within in the north, where they thought that their students were failing. And so, what have I done? I'll just tell you what the information. Well, with Evergreen, I went to the principal to make sure, what do you need in resources? What can I help you? That's the first thing I did, okay? Because I am the school board. I'm not a teacher. And there's somebody over that principal. And I began to, I would say about 7 years ago, when I began to understand, you just don't want to go inside of a school. That's theirs. If they want you to come in, then you go in. So what I did when turnaround, after they was telling about turnaround, and I made sure that I went up to Tallahassee to help us to change a turnaround school. Because I believe, sure, if we had a high school that you could turn around and close that one down, that means our high school students are not doing good. But when you looked at for a child that's in elementary, what's the information you're telling them? Your failure from the beginning that you went elementary school, from kindergarten to some was the 6th or 5th. You're telling that you're a failure instantly. So when I tell Tallahassee, they instantly, some of the senators and some of the representatives, Republicans and Democrats, it takes you to work together. Say, we got to stop that turn around for Millikan Elementary School. I believe that if a school, yes, we can do that. But
That's okay. You have some more?
Yeah, the other thing was, when I was invited to talk to some of the teachers, and they showed me something. How did you know this? Think about this. They said, Angie Boynton, see, I had always to go, but I always went to the library there, and I always bring some books. It's Boynton, remember all those books that you gave us? Look at them now. They're not there no more. They're for children for elementary schools. And I looked at those schools. I bet you're gonna go could those read those? No. Could you read them? Yes, you can. But they couldn't read those books. Why? They were for what? Military, middle school, or either high school schools. And we looked and I said, that's what's wrong. The books are changing a little child that you cannot read that already. And so and though I instantly asked our superintendent, give us some resources for those books to change those instantly. Because these children are young. The ones that can, yes. But get the books for everybody can have. Okay, that's it.
Angie, as a current school board member, do you consider it fiscally responsible to spend over $400,000 for a private operator at Evergreen, a failed school? I think it's a little over 400.
Well, I tell you, I support what they did. I'm gonna tell you why I supported it. One, a charter. It's easy for a charter that was gonna come from another county to take over that. I wouldn't do that. For us to pushed those to another school, and I began, and I'll tell you why they were insolent too. I insolently said busing. If you bus out those children from Evergreen, do you know how many miles it would go? The first person that would hospital they could go to would be in Gainesville. And so I said, you can't do that. That costs more money. And so we looked for the other companies to see what were they doing. And I called and asked some of the school boards, what's going and why? Which one should we get to? And we all voted. We voted after the school board came in, you know, we had a committee and they had voted, anything about it, everybody voted for the right one. And because that money that they have, they were bringing that bring that coming back to us too. So, because those students were getting so much better.
A couple more to go. Angie, regarding your leadership and the drama between the school board and the superintendent, how have you as the incumbent worked to resolve it, and were you successful?
That's a hard one. Well, cause, you know, one time, you remember I was there myself and I said, are you really okay? Is everything really okay what we're doing? You remember when I did that, right? And I was like, so I went instantly, quietly to the superintendent and said, I'm sorry to you, but the reason I said this is because you can see things are different. And I'm not, you know, I'm not the kind of person that will just sit there and let you keep doing that's wrong. She said, I know. And I said, so, for me, I would try the best that I can to not be on TV telling you all. She was like, okay. But I also told, one by one, and I said to them, we got to get better. We have got to be better. The reason why we have students. Whatever we do, they would do.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Two more to go, Angie. Angie, regarding your voting record over the last 7+ years, is there anything you would have voted different and why? You're looking back at things now.
If I look back, if I changed something,
Yes, ma'am.
Not with the school board, or anything here,
Anything pertaining to your position with the school board?
it was. There was one thing that was a policy, and it's kind of hard for a school board member to, when we come together, about ethics. I'm a very person of ethics, you know, the reason why I used to get drugs from these at Shands. We get those kind of drugs, narcotics, put them out, and put them outside and fire them out. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me if you can understand what I was doing. And so I said, ethics is the best thing that we could do, and not just everybody. And that's the worst thing that I heard now that I work it a bit more when I was taught so much better then, so they could understand why ethics was something, so information that we would do, and some other things we wouldn't do. And that's the one thing that I would tell you. That would have been the worst thing that I have ever done, was to push so hard that we do about ethics.
You felt you pushed too hard on the ethics?
I think, no, well, it was a policy that was tell them, like if we were talking so bad against each other, it's in my policy. What we should say and what we should not say, and why we should say these things. You know, and they didn't, because it was almost trying to tell them, stop fussing and doing around. And that policy is a way that you can talk to people. And they didn't want it. And if I had pushed it, then I would think our county would be.
Last one. Regarding leadership, of the 7+ years, what motions, Angie, would you say that you made that that were approved and you're the proudest of the motions that you made? Which ones?
I'm gonna say leadership, experience, and results. I will tell you that even I had that stroke after that hurricane, they had to call me, and they from Tallahassee, and I said, what do you want me to do? Angie, you know what to do. I've called for I've already called for the chair, and I've called the vice chair, and we get them. We're in trouble. Can you do it? And I did everything they needed to do. Because I have over 3 counties, or 2 counties, Marion, Hernando, and Citrus. I'm over those, and I got all the information for them. Made sure that from now on they will have a temple that if information, boom, 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 we can send it to Tallahassee, and they would know instantly what's going on. And I made that for every those county, and they went around for our state, those temples, because it's easy, because I already gave me, they asked me to do it, so I did all of that, gave it to them, and they could understand what was going after that hurricane, and why we need, what information we would need, so.
Now, if you can wrap up with why we should vote for Angie Boynton.
I think I just said, I said it one more time, leadership, experience, improving results. I believe in our county. I believe in all of our different, I would call them diversity students. I love this, you know? And I love the teachers and things. And when they can call me back and say, Angie, we need you, and I understand what you're saying, why? I think I was the best person for this county because so many different are changing. If you looked around after we had the first time for a child with a gun, and right now, you saw on the TVs, those students instantly were calling me, and I gave all that information. And right now, we need an experienced school board that the people will trust. Vote for me, Angie Boynton, for the school board, District 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Good luck.
Thank you.